I'm Colin Thompson of Four Season Tools. We're in Kersey, Pennsylvania. What you see in front of you is a completed 30 by 72 pipe skid movable tunnel. It's got double layer air inflated plastic with an automated roll-up ridge vent. We're going to talk a little bit about this automated system today. The ridge vent system you see here, you can look at other videos and other chapters to learn how to put that in, but what we're going to talk a little bit about is this roll lock, because that's what interacts most with the automated system. You'll have this set up. It will run the length of the tunnel. You can determine spacing from your double plastic attachment channel and your roll lock on top to make sure that you have enough space to install that plastic and also have a functioning roll pull on the outside. We estimated about 5 inches from the base of the ridge vent frame to where the double plastic attachment channel attaches to it. When you open up your unit, you'll see this low voltage motor. You'll see a pipe. This is 17 gauge 1 3/8 inch pipe. You'll see a open end eye bolt with 2 washers, 2 nuts, a chain, and then another small 3/8 inch hex bolt. This is the completed assembly, and what you're looking at is a hanging pipe that runs through the motor itself. The motor will travel up and down that pipe. This pipe is free to hang, free to move, but what that does is keeps the whole motor body from rotating. There's a splicer bar, a square steel that feeds directly into the end of that roll bar. That's the mechanism that actually turns the roll bar itself. You'll have the wire that comes off. You can test this using a power source. A battery works fine to determine how to wire up versus wiring down. You'll see 2 limit switches here. There's a screw in each one. If you release that a little bit, you can turn these blue dials, and that will set the limit for up and set the limit for down. We'll set the limit for up, but we're going to use a separate limit switch, which maybe you can't see from there, but we'll talk about in a moment, down here. This limit switch allows stretching in the plastic without affecting the way the motor actually operates. If you were to use this limit switch, it could go down, pop up into the roll lock, and be good for maybe the first few months. But if that plastic stretches, it's going to go up, and that limit switch won't be set properly anymore. And so this limit switch here prevents any complications with the functioning of the motor. And I'll show you how to set that up in a moment. Basically, you want the pipe to be long enough that the motor can move all the way up and down without sliding off the end. You're going to attach this eye bolt out so that the motor does not rub against the side of the building. This piece here, we just used a spare piece of double plastic attachment channel. You can use angle iron, you can use whatever you have on site to actually support the end of that pipe. But you want to hang it from there. You want to make sure that this is mounted well enough out so that the motor has enough space to move up and down without running into the building this way, and like I said, that way as well. But when you're done, the limit should stop the roll-up before it gets all the way to the top plastic attachment channel, and it should be able to move, come around the roll lock, and slip up in there to trigger that limit switch. Now let's go inside. I'll show you how this limit switch is set up. This is the limit switch that will interfere or interrupt the downward movement of that low voltage motor. You can see there's an extension on either end, small wire that can trigger up and down. What you want to do is you want to have this one extending, and this can be mounted on the inside or the outside. If you have space to put it in the outside, that may be preferable because you have less to move around. For our setup, it made more sense to put it inside, and we put it in a place where it won't function any differently. Do you want this extension to go almost to the end, maybe a 1/16 from the edge of the roll lock? You don't want it to stick out beyond, because then it will trigger it on its way down before it curves back up into the roll lock. And so you want it to extend out there. You also want to make sure that it's going to be in a place where that bar, as soon as it starts curling up, will actually catch it and not interfere the movement as it seats up into that roll lock. So you'll wire this into the controller box. It will take place, or it will take the place of that limit switch, the downward limit switch that's built into the motor. That way you don't have to worry about any plastic stretching. You'll have the same function. So as you're setting it up, you want to test it, make sure that your top limit is set, and then when you have the controller box set up, and also I would look, I guess when you're setting it up, that make sure that that actually has its full range of motion. But then once you have the controller box up, you want to slowly lower the curtain, make sure it gets into its roll lock position, and then stops automatically. Once you have fully automated, it can be manually operated using that controller, or you can have it thermostatically operated using a thermocoupler. And it's a great way to vent a building quickly. All your hot air will immediately rush out of that ridge vent, and you don't have to worry about it because it's fully automated.